Jennifer jolted awake, her heart pounding so violently she could hear it echoing in her ears. Sweat drenched her forehead, and her breath came in sharp, uneven gasps. The nightmare had returned, the same terrifying dream that had haunted her for days. Except this time it was far worse. In every previous dream, she found herself in a strange, muddy village, chased endlessly by a wild-eyed madman holding a shining cutlass. No matter how close he got, she always escaped in the end. But tonight he caught her. She felt the cold metal slice across her abdomen before she woke up screaming. Still trembling, Jennifer reached for the Bible she always kept beside her bed. But the moment she knelt down, a sudden, sharp, stabbing pain shot across her lower abdomen. It was so intense that her vision blurred. She collapsed to the cold floor, clutching herself and crying out in agony. Her roommate, Aiden, woke up instantly. She had known Jennifer for years and had never seen her in such a condition. Panic took over as she rushed to Jennifer's side. "Jennifer, what's wrong? What happened?" Aiden cried out. Jennifer tried to speak, but only strangled cries escaped her lips. The pain was unbearable. Aiden wasted no time. She lifted Jennifer as best as she could and rushed her out of the hostel. A taxi driver helped them get to the nearest hospital. Jennifer's screams echoed through the hallway, sending nurses running toward them. With the doctor unavailable, the nurses quickly admitted her. They injected her with a stabilizing drug to ease the pain, though even that didn't completely help. When her breathing finally steadied, they began their routine questions. "What is your name? How do you feel now?" "My name is Jennifer," she whispered between groans. The nurse examined her abdomen and flinched at the tenderness. But things changed when she asked Jennifer to open her legs for a pelvic inspection. The nurse gently lifted Jennifer's skirt and froze. Her face went pale. She stumbled backward, covered her mouth, and rushed straight into the restroom. Moments later, the sound of retching echoed from behind the door. Whatever she had seen was unlike anything she had ever encountered. Minutes later, the doctor on duty, Dr. Amarachi, arrived. Confident, calm, and known for her sharp medical instincts, she moved quickly through the ward. But when she examined Jennifer herself, even she struggled to maintain her composure. Tiny, worm-like creatures moved inside Jennifer's intimate area. The skin around it was stained with thick black blood. It looked unnatural, impossible, as if something was feeding on her from within. Dr. Amarachi sedated Jennifer again and cleaned the area carefully, documenting the disturbing sight with photographs for later study. She ran multiple tests, blood scans, everything she could order at short notice, but the results baffled her. Jennifer was medically healthy, completely healthy, yet she was in agony when Jennifer finally regained consciousness. Her pain had reduced, but her hands still trembled. Dr. Amarachi sat beside her, her voice calm but serious. "Jennifer, I'm here to help you, but I need you to tell me everything. When did this pain start?" Jennifer hesitated, then looked at the doctor with frightened eyes. It always begins after I wake up from the same nightmare." The doctor frowned, confused. She didn't believe in anything supernatural, only science. Yet nothing about this case made sense. "What kind of nightmare?" she asked. Jennifer inhaled shakily. "The same man, the same village. And every night he gets closer. Tonight he caught her, and the real-world pain followed." The heavy footsteps grew louder, echoing through the narrow hallway like thunder approaching a trapped sky. The girls held their breath. Not a whisper, not a terranly, the sound of fear tightening inside their chests. A metallic click shattered the silence. The door handle began to turn, slowly, as if whoever was outside wanted them to feel every second of dread. The youngest girl, Era, clutched her sister's hand tightly. Her heartbeat felt like it might burst through her ribs. The door creaked open. A tall shadow stepped inside, blocking the dim light from the corridor. His face was hidden, but his presence filled the room with cold authority. Without speaking, he scanned the girls, his eyes calculating, emotionless. Then finally, his deep voice broke the silence. "Only one of you will come with me." Era's sister squeezed her hand even tighter, because she knew exactly what that meant. Era froze as the man's shadow stretched across the floor, reaching toward her like a dark omen. No one moved, no one breathed. The room felt smaller, tighter, as if the walls were closing in. The man took one slow step forward. His boots scraped the concrete floor, an ugly sound that made Era flinch. He lifted his hand and pointed, not at Era, but at her older sister, Sana. Sana's throat tightened. Era instinctively wrapped both arms around her, shaking her head desperately. "No, please, take me instead," Era whispered, voice trembling. But the man didn't respond. He simply grabbed Sana by the wrist and pulled her up. She stumbled, trying to stay calm for her little sister. "Era, listen to me, stay strong. I'll come back," Sana said, forcing a brave smile she didn't feel. The man yanked her toward the door. Era reached out, but the door slammed shut between them, the sound echoing like a gunshot in the empty hall. Era collapsed to her knees, tears finally breaking free. The room felt colder, the silence felt heavier, because they all knew one painful truth. Girls who left that room didn't always return. Era pressed her ear to the cold door, hoping, praying to hear her sister's voice. But the hallway was silent, too silent. The other girls watched her with fear in their eyes, but none dared to speak. They all knew what Era was feeling. They had all felt it before. Minutes dragged by like hours, then a sound, a faint thud, a muffled voice. Era's heart jumped. "Sana," she whispered through the crack. For a moment, she heard nothing, and then a soft, shaky whisper floated through the gap under the door. "Era, listen carefully." Era's breath caught. It was her sister, Sana. "Are you okay?" Era whispered urgently. There was a pause. Then Sana's voice came again, weaker this time. "They're moving some of us tonight. You must be ready. There's a way out. But you can't trust everyone in that room." Era's eyes widened. Someone behind her wasn't who they appeared to be. Before Era could ask more, the whisper faded. Footsteps approached from the hallway, again fast and heavy. Era jumped back just as the door handle rattled. The girls froze. The door didn't open this time, but a male voice growled from the other side. "Quiet, all of you." Era swallowed hard. She knew one thing now. Whatever was coming next was coming soon. Era stepped back from the door, her pulse racing. Sana's warning echoed in her mind. You can't trust everyone in that room. Era slowly turned her head and looked at the other girls. Lena, the quiet one who always sat in the corner. Mari, who cried every night until she lost her voice. And Rija, the oldest, always acting calm, a little too calm Era's eyes stayed on Rija. Rija noticed. She asked sharply, "Why are you staring?" Era didn't answer. She bit her lip and looked away, but her heartbeat wouldn't settle. Minutes passed. Then suddenly, the small vent in the wall made a metallic sound. Rija stood up immediately. Too quickly, Era watched. Folded piece of paper. Era's breath caught. She's sending a message to them. Rija froze when she realized Era was watching her. Their eyes locked. Rija's expression changed from calm. "Too cold. Come here," Rija said softly. Too softly. Too controlled. Era shook her head and backed away. Rija stood up slowly and took a step forward. "You heard something at the door, didn't you?" she whispered. Era felt her blood turn cold. "How do you know that?" Era whispered back. Rija smiled, a small, dangerous smile. Before Era could move, the door suddenly burst open, and the same shadowy man stepped inside. But this time, he didn't look at any of the girls. He looked directly at Rija. As if expecting her, Era realized the truth. Rija wasn't another victim. She was the eyes and ears for the people controlling this place. And now, she knew Era suspected her. Era's heart raced as the shadowy man's eyes locked onto Rija. In that instant, the room seemed to shrink, the air thick with tension. Rija's cold smile never faltered, but Era knew she had seconds to act. The man raised his hand. Rija took a step closer to him, whispering something unintelligible. Era's stomach churned. She realized the danger wasn't only from him, but from someone she once thought was a friend. Summoning courage, Era grabbed a small metal rod from the floor, a piece of broken chair leg, and hurled it at the man's head. The sudden noise startled him. He stumbled, his attention shifting. Era seized the moment. "Run," she yelled to the other girls. They scrambled toward the far door at the end of the room, adrenaline propelling them forward. The shadowy man recovered quickly, but before he could react, Rija screamed not in fear, but rage. She lunged toward the vent, trying to disappear into the hidden network she had been using all along. Era barely had time to reach the exit when a blinding light filled the hallway. Security lights that had mysteriously turned on. Shouts echoed behind her as she ran out into the open air. The night was cold, but freedom felt warmer than she ever imagined. Outside, police sirens wailed. Someone had finally alerted the authorities. Era turned to see the shadowy man cornered by officers, his face contorted with anger. Rija had vanished, her betrayal, a bitter memory. Era's knees gave out, and she sank to the pavement. She could feel her sister's hand on her shoulder. Sana had been rescued too. The sisters embraced tightly, tears flowing freely, washing away the terror of the past nights. Later, as they sat in the safety of the hospital, Era reflected on everything she had witnessed, the nightmares that had felt so real, the betrayal from someone she thought was trustworthy, and the courage she found within herself. She understood now. Trust must be earned. Vigilance is survival, and even in the darkest moments, courage can light the way. As the sun rose, casting warm light over the city, Era, Sana, and the other girls began their journey toward Healingsgard, but alive, wiser, and stronger than before. They had escaped the nightmare, but the lessons it left behind would stay with them forever.